All right, so this morning we're going to take a look at the new publishing system for Gamesalad. And I've seen a lot of people on the forums having trouble with their certificates and using the new publishing system. So let's just take a look at a few of the things that you'll have to go through to get your everything copacetic and working properly. The first things you want to look at is you want to go in and bring up the Keychain access, which is located in the Applications Utilities folder. And you want to come in and you want to look for three specific things. This other stuff just relates to your system in Apple. These three that I'm going to show you relate specifically to having a developer account. Now, I don't have a Mac certificate for publishing to the Macintosh computer, so I can't show you that, but I can show you the basics for iDevices. So the three things you want to look at is your Apple Worldwide Developer Relations Certification Authority. And you want to make sure that it hasn't expired, okay? And you want to make sure there's only one of these in there. So if anything of these that I'm going to show you that you have duplicates, you need to get rid of them. And so we see that my certificate is good. If not, you have to re-download one if it's expired and renew them. The same with these. You have to make new keys and redo them. And you're going to see I have my iPhone developer certificate. It's valid, okay? And it's paired with a key, okay? When you first start, that triangle will be closed. And my distribution certificate is paired with a key, all right? And just check all that out. Make sure no duplicates and all that's good. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look into Xcode, which I must have quit. I thought I had that up, so let's just bring up Xcode. And we don't need this window. We're going to go up to Window in the Organizer, and we're going to go to Provisioning Profiles here, and we're going to just look at our profiles to see that they're all valid profiles, and just make sure that you check out the expiration dates here once again. Make sure they're good, and you can always come down here to the bottom and hit refresh, and it will log into your developer account. If you don't have that, it never done that, and you don't have that information in there, it's good to put it in there. You'll see it'll download all the certificates. It'll make sure everything's up to date. You can see it's grabbed all this other stuff that's in there that were distribution profiles that I had that are all expired now because I haven't done any updates or any of that. So you can just go ahead and you can delete those that are expired right out of there. And this one. And then you can renew them through the system. So once you make sure you've got all your profiles in there, this will tell you the this will tell you the app identifier. Now you don't need these numbers, you just need what comes after the numbers, which is this part. And this is a great way to check, oh, what was the app ID that I made for that provisioning profile? I wasn't quite sure what it was, and you can just come back here and check it out and make sure you put it right in the publishing system when you go to publish through GS, because that's critical. So one of the things that I'm going to show you is if you have the iOS team provisioning profile with the asterisk, this is great for doing ad hocs, because you don't have to go in and I don't ever make app IDs until I go to do distribution. I do all my ad hoc publishing with the wildcard team provisioning profile, which allows you to just type in basically just about anything in there and produce and sign an app, and you can have multiple versions or multiple apps running on your iDevice with that wildcard asterisk without having to make a bunch of app IDs, and it doesn't clog up your whole developer account and all that. It's great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead into Gamesalad, and there's really not much here for a game. We don't need to really see so much. So we're going to go up to the corner, and we're going to go ahead and publish out the game. And this is an iPad game, so we're just going to go ahead and log into our publishing account. And then we're going to go ahead and log into our Gamesalad account. This has been taking a minute here. It's been a little slow. Especially this part I've noticed this morning. But just be patient. Give it a minute or two. I know a lot of people are so excited and real busy and wanting to do all these kind of things, but sometimes this stuff goes a little slow. There, see, it comes up. So now we're going to notice we're in the new publishing system, and right at the top here is where we want to start. So we're going to go ahead and get an icon. Now it's going to show you, okay, what the icon has to be in size, 512 by 512, but most stuff is looking for Retina. Now if you're doing Retina, which you should be if you're doing anything for iDevices, and you need a 1024 by 1024. So we're just gonna click on the icon, and I've got one here on my desktop ready to go, and it'll take a minute to download. And while that's doing that, we'll go ahead and put in a name, and we'll just call this Logic, since that was the file that I grabbed, and you can see that's in there now. So now the first section it's going to bring us to is the arcade information, and you can see that Gamesalad, this requires you to have all these things kind of in there, screenshots of the right size, description, instructions, a game trailer if you have one, tags, stats, all that kind of stuff's got to be done to reach this line here. That means you can publish it on the arcade. So, but we're going to go down to iPad, and it's going to give us some warnings and tell us certain things can't be blank. We're going to go in and we're going to go ahead and do display name, and we're just going to put Logic. Now this is the area of display name is what's going to be displayed under the icon when it displays on the iDevice. You don't have to put a version in for ad hocs, but you will for distribution. And now here in the bundle identifier, now I'm going to use my wildcard, but if you're using an app ID, you need to make sure that the app ID doesn't have any special characters in it or any of that kind of stuff, and that it's typed exactly as you typed it when we looked back in the Xcode settings. So if it's got capitals, it needs to be capitals because this is a Unix environment, so all that stuff matters. So you need to make sure you copy it. And I'm just going to show you the wildcard, and I'm just going to make something up. I don't even have an app ID. I'll just put in my frying bacon is usually what I do. And you can go and do a minimum. If you're just doing ad hoc, you got to make sure that you select an orientation. Whether you want to use overscan, a letterbox, you don't have to fill out any of this kind of stuff unless you're doing distribution, you know, where you got to activate all these different areas, iAds, Playhaven, and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much we're ready at this point to do an ad hoc. This is pretty much all you have to do. So we're just going to come over here. Now all the warnings are gone, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to generate the app. So we're going to go ahead and click on the generation. And it's going to tell me, hey, this might take a few minutes. Just chill out. So now, what I'm noticing here with Gamesalad, this button here used to come up to sign app. Now, I don't know if this is because I did a new one, but anyways, it's asking me right here. I noticed this morning to start the app signing process here instead of here. So I'm going to come down here and click it and show you. It's going to bring me into the signing process. And since I'm using my team profile and I don't have an app ID and a whole separate provisioning profile made up for this, if you did, it would be in this area. If you don't, then click on this. It's going to bring you to get and set up a provisioning profile. Just make sure when you re-download a profile, that you make sure it's in Xcode. You don't even have to bring it into Xcode. You don't have to download it or anything from Apple Developer. If you just go and create the app ID and create the profile, you can just hit that refresh button that I showed you, and it will bring it right into Xcode. Once it's done that, Gamesalad will recognize it. So we're going to sign the app, and we're going to go ahead and just save it to the desktop. I hate those fireworks. I'm sorry. And that's pretty much it. I've never had issues, and I've been through just about every transition that Gamesalad's been through in the last 2 years with their games, and I've never been through problems. You know, this stuff of deleting all my certificates and redoing them. I see people they jump on that right away. And then usually it's just some small glitch they've done. They've got duplicates and they've got all this crazy stuff going on. Once you make your certificates and once you make your keys in your keychain, there should be no reason other than they need to be renewed that you need to remake those keys again. If you're having a publishing problem, you need to go into Xcode, make sure you have the latest version of Xcode always that's non-beta, and that make sure that when you download the latest version of Xcode that you always go in and check the profiles that you made specifically for that game, not your certs and your keys like I showed you in the in Keychain, but it's usually at that down second level that you've got problems. So if you've got multiple copies in there or something, you need to get rid of them. Check, make sure that that you refresh everything down like I showed you in Xcode, and you should be good. I've never had any problems at all that I see a lot of people having. So hope this helps get you going using the new publishing system. It's pretty straightforward. I know it's different, but once you kind of get into it and you look at it, you see that it's pretty normal. So all right, hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video.